gracious, Ray, because the Labor Party is certainly well in front, and would be not gracious to reflect adversely on what he said. But I think what Labor have done in this election is and this is a point which I think would take a long time to explain, but they're very good at the language war. Very good use of words. I think Don Watson's probably an asset in Mr. Keating's office. Very good at describing in simple terms their policies against ours, and winning the battle on points. I think in many respects a lot of what he said is over the top is probably a good description. I mean, for example, I don't think dividing the nation and those types of terms are adequate descriptions for the policy differentials between the two parties. But the bottom line is they worked, and politics is about winning, and winners are grinners, losers can please themselves. It's an old cliche.
Well, Graham, a tremendous victory for all those with imagination and faith, he also said.
Well, it's just a tremendous victory. Not many of us really believed it possible. When he got the job, he was 70 points behind Hewson in approval. Labor was 20 points behind the Liberal Party. And I and others simply said to Keating, look, your job is to get us close. We know we can't win. We just want to get close so that the time after we can come back. Now, look what he's done. I mean, it is an amazing victory, and one that, as Laurie said, the pundits didn't pick. A lot of people in the Labor Party doubted, but Keating didn't doubt it. He's there. And I can't think in my lifetime of a sweeter or greater victory.
What sort of government are we going to see now, if you look ahead?
Bloody good one, I hope.
Are you going to be part of it? Are you out of the sin bin and standing for the ministry?
Well, I'm certainly thinking about running back onto the field. So we'll see, but I mean, that's up to the caucus, Laurie. I never presumed there were...
Well, Paul Keating has talked about wanting a younger ministry, a ministry of whole new people without the factions choosing them. Is this possible? Can Paul Keating virtually choose his own ministry in the light of this victory?
Well, Paul Keating will certainly have a profound influence on who gets chosen, as Bob Hawke did last time. He got people up who couldn't win in a ballot, and Paul Keating knows to be able to get a few up himself.
But
so
you need some radical changes, don't you?
Well, but there will be anyway. There's a number of people who are getting out. So there are going to be quite a few changes.
But he really has his government on his own now, doesn't he? Now he's it's Paul Keating's government. It's not a leftover from Bob Hawke.
No, this is his victory. His alone. He's got it. It's his government, and hopefully he'll take us wherever he wants to go.
I want to show you, gentlemen, just this is the early edition of the Herald Sun. There you go, which has just come out in Victoria.
Well, the Herald.
It's like the Harry Trevor one, isn't it?
In 1991, the Sun Herald in Sydney came out with, on the Sunday morning, first edition, Greiner landslide, which had to be a cliffhanger for Greiner a few hours later. And I think the editor there will be redoing his sums very quickly, and you'll see a different one, I think, probably within an hour.
I don't know that there was a semicolon after the word Hewson. I don't think it indicates Hewson won in a close finish. I think some might read it that way.
But in the end, it's not a close finish, is it?
Oh, well, I mean... depends what view you take of those marginal seats.
Well, Graham was saying earlier in the week we'll be here until next Wednesday before we know the result. I mean, we knew it, what, 8:30, 9:15?
Well, he said we wouldn't know. I said on your show yesterday, Ray, you'd know at 11:15. But I might have got the result wrong.
No, look, certainly I thought we were going to win seats in Tassie. When I walked in and found the swing was as big as it was, I think we all knew, really. That
obviously, walked past Richard, but we'll wait on John Hewson to see what he's got to say.
Okay.
John Cowan.
Hi, guys. Maybe the last time. Take these pictures for a couple of weeks, eh? Do we cross the steps? Yeah.
Right now. Whatever step here. Okay. What's it, guys? Here we go. Here we go.
It is a longer walk than he expected, isn't it?
About another 20 feet.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. see so many friends here. Well, thank you very much. And clearly it was a tough campaign, and clearly it's close. Something like 15 or 16 seats still in the balance, but you'd have to say the probabilities are that the government will win. As I look back over the last 3 years, I do so with a great sense of satisfaction and a great sense of pride. We set out 3 years ago to issue a challenge to all Australians to stop and think about where Australia is today and where Australia is headed. And we set out quite honestly and openly to restore integrity and honesty to government and to set out a position for Australia to carry us into the 21st century. In simple terms, we wanted to... In simple terms, we wanted to provide a vision for the people of Australia that would really secure the future of our children and our grandchildren. As I say, as I look back over that entire period, I'm proud of our honesty, I'm proud of our openness, I'm proud that we went out and raised the tough issues and fought the hard fight. I believe we did it the way it should be done, and I hope that the politics of fear does not become a permanent feature of the Australian way of life. We could have done it the easy way. We could have sat back and done nothing and wait for the other side to fall over. But in the worst recession in 60 years, and in circumstances where our children and potentially our grandchildren are going to find it tougher than we found it to get work, to get an education, to start a family, I think it's important that all politicians face that reality and stand up and fight for that future generation. We had a great campaign. I think it's probably our most outstanding campaign and our most professional campaign. And there are therefore a lot of people who I would want to thank in these circumstances. I should begin, of course, with my own staff, headed by Duncan Fairweather, a superb job. Andrew Robb and his team in the campaign headquarters, outstanding. Professionalism unequalled in Australian politics. I have no doubt we absolutely did our best, and I'm pleased to say, as I started out, to want to be able to say, to look back tonight and say, we really could not have done it any better. And thank you for that. I also finally want to thank my colleagues who ran the most unified and dignified campaign that I've seen in a very long period of time. Our National Party colleagues, our Liberal Party colleagues, the unity was unequalled, the teamwork was superb, and I congratulate you for the way you performed in this campaign. Finally, I want to thank those who voted for us. They shared our dream. And I want to guarantee them that we are going to fight on. We are going to continue to fight. Honesty and integrity will win in the end. It has to, for the future of our children and our grandchildren. Finally, can I thank Carolyn my wife, an outstanding job. Absolutely outstanding. Thank you. And we had a great time doing it, let me tell you. And the support of my family as well. We really had a fantastic time in this campaign, and we look forward, as I say, to sustaining the fight. Thank you for your support. Thank you for coming.
All right, there we have it. I guess it's a concession speech. Dr. Hewson said the probabilities are that the government will win. 15 or 16 seats in balance, but it had a great sense of satisfaction and pride. We're going to fight on, he said, Laurie. I guess the royal we, we're going to fight on. We're going to continue the fight.
Well, it sounds as though he's planning to stay on in the leadership, right? There's no indication there that he's going to step down.
Yes.
I'm not sure how the party will react to that. What do you think, Mike?
Well, I hope he does. I agree with what he said about Andrew Robb. I think Andrew Robb's technically run a brilliant campaign. I also agree with what he said about the politics of fear. It would be a terrible thing if that Australian politics saw elections won and lost on that basis. And otherwise, I think John Hewson did a superb job.
Can you keep the GS2?
Well, that's a matter for the parliamentary party, but I don't think that in its current form you could do that.
Can you have John Hewson without the GS2?
Well, I certainly think you could. We had Paul Keating with the GST and then without it. And then he won an election because of it.
But John Hewson's the one who said he'd step down before he'd allow that to happen.
Well, things change in politics. He tried very hard to sell an initiative which I think most objective commentators thought was in the best interests of Australia. Works pretty well in 21 out of 23 OECD countries. But politics is about winning. We didn't get over the line, and that was the principal factor. But, you know, Paul Keating had one view of it, changed his mind, and then seems to have won an election opposing a policy he favoured. So, yeah, I certainly think you can keep John and have a change in favour.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Well, this is the sweetest victory of all.
Few believed he could win. One major newspaper published his political epitaph before the votes were counted.
This is a victory for the true believers. The people who, in difficult times, have kept the faith.
At the close of counting, Labor had won the 74-seat minimum to control the House. 7 seats are in doubt, and the voters of Dixon in Brisbane are still to cast their votes.
Take these pictures for a couple of weeks, eh?
For opposition leader John Hewson, the unthinkable had happened. He'd lost the unlosable election.
Clearly it was a tough campaign, and clearly it's close. Something like 15 or 16 seats still in the balance. But you'd have to say the probabilities are that the government will win.
But John Hewson still wouldn't officially concede or admit that his fight-back gamble with its GST was an electoral minus.
I have no doubt we absolutely did our best, and I'm pleased to say, as I started out, to want to be able to say, to look back tonight and say, we really could not have done it any better. And thank you for that.
The victory gives Paul Keating the chance to shake off the recession bogey and look towards the future.
I said to the Australian people, we've turned the corner. Can I say now, after the election, let me repeat it. We have turned the corner. The growth is coming through. We will see ourselves as a sophisticated trading country in Asia, and we've got to do it in a way where everybody's got a part of it, where everyone's in it.